I just had to start recording this because this is just fascinating.
Clear about that.
So this is a crime against humanity. Forced starvation is a crime against humanity.
The occupying power has a responsibility to get aid into the war zone, period.
So
by the law of war.
So in addition, do you accept that the Israeli plan, as reported by Haaretz, as discussed openly by ministers like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, as backed by the President of the United States, is forced ethnic cleansing?
I think we have, as recently as yesterday, the Prime Minister of Israel talking about forced migration into certain areas and then potentially out of the country. That is not legal. That is not on any international standards since World War II. And I've been clear about that. So I would ask for a little bit of an open mind.
Well, what I would ask is, listen, I'm a YouTuber. You know, I have my words, that's all I have. But you're a United States Senator. Like you're not the president, but you have power. So what are you going to do? Because so far what we've seen, I mean, you voted for some of the aid that's been used to massacre children and innocents. You know, you have backed Israel, as far as I can tell, from your voting record at almost every turn. You voted for a definition of anti-Semitism that would, codify anti-Zionism as anti-Semitism. You voted as a member of the House to sanction the ICC for indicting Benjamin Netanyahu, who you just admitted is a war criminal, by your own words. So are you going to join Senator Angus King, Senator Bernie Sanders in saying no more aid to this country that is committing war crimes against innocent civilians?
I think the first thing, if you're asking about what to do with power, and I would offer that right now Democrats own nothing in Washington. So don't
play powerless with me. You're a United States Senator. There are things you can do.
In terms of who runs our foreign policy, I just think it's interesting, right, that there was a ton of protests when Democrats were in charge.
There was a protest in Manhattan yesterday.
Okay. I think it's fair to say, just to be honest, that back and forth, like the number of protests that go on now versus before.
Well, they were part of your political coalition.
Well, that's not. I mean, Senator Slotkin,
that's fair.
Obviously, I'm here. I was very upset over the Biden administration policy, and as you can tell, I'm very upset over the Trump administration policy. So let's deal not in strawman, but me and here.
But in terms of so the tools that I have, the tools that we have in general, to me, the most important thing is a pressurized campaign to get aid into people who are starving. That to me is the number one, because that's the one is urgent and today. And that.
But will you cut off aid to Israel so long as they're committing crimes against humanity?
There is a difference between a weapon to protect a country from incoming missiles versus other offensive and defensive weapons are different.
She goes to not answer a yes or no
question. Would you stop any offensive aid to Israel?
That certainly, to me, would be a place to look, but I'm not going to cut off a blanket next sale on a defensive weapon that comes through. No.
I also reject that because, for example, if Senator Slotkin, if you were asked to support defensive weapons for Iran, defensive weapons for Russia, you wouldn't back that.
No, but Iran, but
they're defensive. They're just protecting civilians, right? So how is it different?
But because Israel's being shot at.
So is Iran. So is Russia.
Ukraine's shooting at Russia right now.
I'm sorry. This is the difference between allies, partners, and adversaries.
Why is it an ally then? What are they doing right now which makes it an ally?
I think allied relationships, just like Lithuania right now, like an allied relationship or a partner relationship is a long-standing relationship of information sharing and diplomacy. And that is, to me, it's not a every day we decide Lithuania is our ally or not. We're allied or not. And sometimes we have big breaks with allies, right? Sometimes we have difficult moments with allies. Sometimes it goes the wrong way with allies. But an allied relationship is a long-term relationship.
It's hard for me to understand why we should ally. I'm sure you believe in or claim to believe in liberal human rights. Why would we ally with a nation that is committing a genocide and live streaming it?
So can I ask literally, this, I think about this from the mirror image way, because I do not support the things that Donald Trump is doing, right? But I'm an American. So do I want other countries to look at America and be like, we can't stand Donald Trump, so we're going to end any longstanding relationship we have with the American people. We're going to cut off any support we give them on information sharing or intelligence sharing. We are not just our elected leaders. And I think that's the thing that's been lost in the conversation.
So B'Tselem and another Israeli human rights organization joined the Global Consensus, Amnesty International, some 800 scholars. There was a piece from an Israeli scholar in the New York Times in saying this is a genocide. Do you accept, even Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday came out and said it's a genocide. Do you accept that? And if you do, what responsibility does the United States Senator have? This is a nation that we send every year billions of dollars to aid that you have voted for and supported. What responsibility does the United States Senator have to prevent genocide and to stop genocide that we see ongoing?
We have a responsibility up till today to ensure that food is getting in.
Is it a genocide?
People don't starve. I don't know that I'd use that term.
Why?
But it is violating the law of war.
Why don't you use the term though?
Because I think it's, to me, do I think it's ethnic cleansing, which is what I think of in genocide? I don't know if it meets that definition.
Didn't you say it earlier that it was ethnic cleansing? You said that they wanted to force. This is open from the Israeli government. They're saying it. They're
and from Trump,
national security. They come out and they're like, we don't need shells. We need shells, not food, and we need to encourage migration.
There's ethnic cleansing.
You're not going to get me to support what the Israeli government.
In our own country, how can she be trusted to keep us safe from ethnic cleansing if she can't even see it when it's happening right in front of her fucking face?
Is saying right now, I think
she's an asset. She is an Israeli asset. End of analysis. The rest of this conversation should just be exposing her.
The point I was trying to make is it's not just about, we have relationships with nations over time, regardless of who their leaders are. We have really tough moments, we have easier moments, but that doesn't, so I'm not willing to say that, I hate everything ever.
Sure,
into
but so
the future.
even if you accept that they're committing a genocide, you still wouldn't cut off their aid.
I think that defensive aid and offensive aid are different things, and I think at this point,
So
what
if
they're
Nazi
doing every
Germany,
single day
if
is
Nazi
doing-
Germany said we want defensive aid, I mean, it's just you have to see where they're all weapons that are being shipped. You know, in
They're
another
not using-
context,
the weapons that they're using right now, I mean, to be honest, if you look at what's happening on the ground, the military part of this conflict is, for the most part, over. What they are doing,
Senator,
every single day is around aid. They are hurting people
They have
around
slaughtered over
delivery of
1,000
aid.
people
It's
who were
over?
starving people just trying to get aid.
That is
I know
not
you
high,
know this.
that's not high intensity bombs. That's not the weapons that that we were talking about 2 years ago. It's just not.
So we can keep sending them shit because it's already over? That's your argument? What a genocidal freak she is. Elissa Slotkin. Die in infamy. Jesus.
I'm sorry, every single day, the military reports that I read, they are traditional, like, this is a military that has a bad strategy. It is not the bombs that we were seeing 2 years ago.
It's not a military that has a bad strategy. The strategy is forced starvation.
That
and
is-
ethnic
that is
cleansing.
not a-
That's
that is-
their strategy, and they're accomplishing it very effectively with the full backing of the United States government, including sadly Democrats.
Well-
and so a couple more questions. And I know you have to run. I'm curious why you condemned Rashida Tlaib for using the rally chant, from the river to the sea, something she said for her evokes equal rights, and you have not condemned Randy Fine, who said that Gazans should, quote, starve away, who floated that the Gaza Strip should be nuked, who called Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and Soran as well, called them Muslim terrorists. Where is
I
the
have no
concern over
problem
him?
condemning. I have no problem condemning Randy Fine, who I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know who that person is. I have no problem condemning someone who talks like that.
Senator, we have to ask you last question because your staff is telling us. Do you think AIPAC should register as a foreign lobby?
I don't know the answer to that. I think that I know plenty of people who
The
think they
hardest
should.
question of all.
I
It's
don't.
kind of a cop-out answer, don't you think?
I mean,
Yeah.
I literally, I just guess I'd have to look at the definition. I certainly have had my tough moments with that organization, and
So you stop accepting their funding?
you gotta get your facts straight. I have not been endorsed by AIPAC. I have not. I'm sorry. I was the first Jew
You were
elected to the Senate that was not endorsed by any Jewish group. AIPAC, J Street.
You've been the recipient of their funds.
In 2018, when I first ran, people who were members, yes, but I've not been endorsed since then. And I just got to be honest. Like, I think that this is where facts really matter. I've had very, very difficult conversations with my colleagues in that organization,
You trying
and
to
made
earn
a
the money
choice back in
back? Is that what you're trying to
2021.
do?
2021. So that was the first time I was up for re-election. So I understand that there's a sort of, like, again, cornered position, but to me, like, I call balls and strikes as someone who served in the Middle East.
I have one
You
more
already
question I have to
said
ask
that.
you.
You didn't like it before.
You know, we do the show. I really do my best to try to uphold, like, basic human rights, Palestinian humanity, oppose the killing of innocent civilians wherever that happens. And I have to tell you, like, I feel really guilty that I'm not doing enough. I think all the time about, I'm a mom, I think all the time about those moms who can't feed their babies. Those babies are starving to death. And I just want to know, like, you're a United States Senator, you did vote for some of the bombs that were dropped on refugee camps. When kids have been sniped in the head, tents firebombed, people set on fire. The entire Gaza Strip turned into rubble. And now we're seeing these emaciated bodies of babies starving to death every day. And I'm like,
know what you can
does
do.
it eat
You
you
wanna-
up? Does it eat you up? Do you think, like, what more could I do? Do you regret any of your votes? Do you
Let me
regret
tell
any
you what I
sort
was
of
working on this
complicity?
morning. A group of Jewish rabbis and Muslim community leaders came together with a proposal that we are working on just getting, like, if we can't get other aid in, at least get baby formula and nutritional supplements for children in. Let that be kind of a green light, never has a problem. No one's trying to eat baby formula other than a baby, right? That is the proposal that I've been working on all night and this morning. So in terms of what we're trying to do, there's not a moment that goes by that this isn't something that I'm working on and something that my own community, not online, but my own community has practical things that they want to do. They're willing to raise the money. They're willing to buy the formula. They're willing to do whatever we need to do to get it shipped in. That's how I spend my time.
But you're not
Why should we believe you if you don't even call it a genocide?
willing to cut off aid to Israel.
To me, that to me is the most effective thing that I can do today.
You would have voted for it, but you didn't. You're an
Telling us
asset.
you absolutely have to go. So we appreciate your time. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Senator.
Thank you very
Thank
much. Okay. Thank you.
Horrendous. Scum of a human being. Knock the Israeli sonic rings out of this lady.